Hello, my name is Isaac Ford, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Sandberg 48 bass. Now, I like to talk about three things anytime I look into a new bass. How does it look? How does it sound? And how does it feel? With this instrument, I want to start by talking about the ordering process. This was a custom order. They have this really nifty configurator on their website, and it allows you to pick one of their models, and then you can go through and spec it out to your liking. So with this instrument, I went with this nice gold, these what they call the CR stripes, and it actually got paired with this matching headstock, which I'll talk about how that came to be here in a moment. I also opted for the fretless ebony fingerboard. Now, the reason I decided to go this route is because I was very attracted to the idea of having a Gibson Thunderbird bass. After trying a few, they really didn't do it for me. I started looking at some different alternatives online, and I came across Sandberg. What I liked about this bass so much is that it took inspiration from the Thunderbird, but it's still very much its own instrument. When I finally decided to order this bass, it did take a year to come, so just be aware, it does take a while, and said I was going to come back to it. During this process, I actually received an email from them that they had by accidentally made the matching headstock for this bass. You'll see on their website it's extra for the matching headstock. I opted without it just to save a few bucks, but they were kind enough that because they made the mistake, they were willing to throw it in for free. And seeing the bass in its final form, I think it would have been weird to not have the matching headstock. Now, getting into how the bass looks. Visually, I think it's stunning. Again, it takes that Thunderbird inspiration, but makes something of its own. Where the looks fail on this bass is it's not a very versatile look. Coming from someone who's worked in country bands, worship teams, blues bands, rock bands, there are very few gigs I have that I feel like this is appropriate to take. So the looks definitely limit you. Now, how does it sound? Maybe not the way you would expect. Saying this sounds like a Thunderbird, that's not true. Saying it sounds like a P bass, a Music Man, also not true. It is very much its own bass. And I noticed this actually playing a lot of Sandberg's basses, is they sound very unique to Sandberg. I don't think they can really be compared to much else. With that being said, you do not have two humbuckers like you traditionally would on a Thunderbird style bass. This may look like a humbucker, but it's actually a split coil pickup. Now, the bridge pickup is in fact a humbucker pickup, very similar to a Music Man, although, again, it really has a unique sound to its own. The sound is about as high quality as it gets. It doesn't have that overly present active sound that I find in a lot of basses with EMG pickups or other active pickups, because it is passive pickups with an active EQ, which gives it still that, again, that classic passive glow with that high def sound that an active bass would offer. And to me, this bass sounds perfect. It's like the perfect sounding bass. But do you want the perfect sounding bass? For me, not always. Especially recording a lot of blues and folk music, you can kind of see some of that on my channel. I actually like something with a little bit of character. So something that growls a little bit, something that distorts when you hit it too hard. This bass doesn't have any dead spots. The sustain is impeccable. The note just rings out forever. The sound is very clear, it's very even, it's very crisp, and to me, maybe is somewhat bland. Now, how does it feel? The neck itself is the best part of this instrument. Whatever they finished this in, however they finished it, I'm not a guitar maker, but oh my gosh, it feels so smooth. It's like butter. The neck profile is, again, like most things about this bass, very unique to its own. When I was in communication with them, they compared it to a P bass. I mean, to me, it doesn't really, maybe some modern P basses. To me, it's more like something between a P and a jazz bass. So if you've played Thunderbirds, you know they have that really itty bitty nut width. This does not have that, which for me is a good thing. One thing I really don't understand with this bass is the fret access, or I guess the fretless access. This horn I feel like they could have easily brought down lower, but I don't know, they decided to end it there, and so the highest note you can comfortably hit is a C, and you know the highest note on most standard basses is an E flat. Now, this is a pretty good bass for slap. On the slap radar, I'd probably give it like a, I don't know, a 6 out of 10. I'm not really much of a slap bass player. Seems to take slap pretty well, especially for a fretless bass. One of the biggest things though is the position of this volume knob. When I'm really digging into it, I've hit it and messed up my volume. It's also the push-pull for the active-passive, and I've pushed it in. I've done all sorts of stupid stuff. The last thing I'd say about the feel is this bass does have some neck dive. It's not too bad. Over the years, I've become increasingly more sensitive to it, where now I really don't like basses with any neck dive. It ends up being a little uncomfortable for me. It really doesn't feel like any other bass I've ever played. I stress, this is an instrument very unique to Sandberg. With all that being said, the reason I've decided to make a video after owning this bass for a couple years is I've actually decided to sell this bass, and I have found a buyer. So that was a long way of me explaining I have sold this bass. With all that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and be sure to like and subscribe. Take care.